welcome to the Dojo Talk Podcast. Please remove them shoes before entry.
Sam Master is here, and you still have not taken off your shoes.
Yeah. Living every day to define man's mission. Looking to the sky for divine transmission. Deaf man's vision makes the blind man listen. Eyes on the prize, this is blind ambition. Thank you.
Welcome to another edition of the Dojo Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Serial Sensei. We're on episode number 156. As always, I done butchered my own intro. I was about to just lead right in. You can listen to this podcast on SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, YouTube, all those good places. Give us a shout out and a look on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page, as well as the Dojo Talk Podcast Instagram page. You can send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com, and you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Serial Sensei, and you can follow the Anti-Cool on Twitter at GC Zeus. Which, speaking of, as always, I'm joined with my co-host, the Anti-Cool. What's going on, man?
I'm ready to talk some Shannon Briggs.
Yes, let's go. He was the star.
Shannon Briggs is always the star.
He was the star of the night. God, that KSI Logan Paul, man. That was I was struggling to stay up to watch it. I was fading, man. I was fading, but I'm glad I made it. I had a good time. I had a good time. But before we get to all that, quick shout outs. As always, to the listeners, you guys who come here and listen every week for whatever reason. But we appreciate you. Keep sharing, friends, co-workers. You know what, I was going to say share it with a Popeyes worker, but you might end up in a real fight. So, I mean, if you want to, you can.
Leave the Popeye worker alone, man.
Yeah, you might want to leave them alone.
Yeah, the KFC worker.
There you go. Yeah, go to KFC. They're probably not getting no business.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah. Go share it with them while they're back there making those mediocre biscuits. There you go. Let them listen to it. But Twitter folk, Tumblr folk, wherever you are, all you guys who listen every week, we appreciate you. Top listens for the week as far as cities. Number 1, Bronx, New York. Number 2, New York, New York. Number 3, Ocala, Florida. Number 4, San Marcos, California. And number 5, Salinas, California. Actually tied at number 5. Actually, you know what? There are a bunch of ties, so I can't read all these. Hold up. At number 10, they're back. Cairo, Egypt.
Yeah.
What it do? Shouts to Cairo, man. I need that person, man. Whoever this person is in Cairo, Egypt. Just say something.
You're welcome on the show.
Yes. I just want to hear from you. I need to hear how you got here, what link you clicked on. You know, you're not here every week, but every now and again you pop in. So I need to know. I need to know what's going on in Cairo, man.
I am curious why our analytics seems to think that the Bronx is not actually part of New York.
Yeah.
So how does it work out that the Bronx is number 1, but the entire city of New York City is number 2?
I don't know. I have no idea. But I don't know. I guess the Bronx has somehow elevated itself just above the city. They're just y'all are your own thing now. Y'all are your own.
Shouts to that might be James. So shouts to James.
There you go.
Yeah.
James, you have your own. You're the king of the Bronx now.
Exactly.
Yeah. There you go. You rule with an iron fist. But shout outs to the listeners. As always. As far as the rundown of the show of things we'll be covering today, of course, we will be starting off with our new segment, What's on Your Mind. After that, we'll go through some news and notes. And then as far as the fights that we'll be covering this week, we will briefly, and I mean very briefly, go over Bellator 233, which neither of us really watched in detail. We will both will briefly cover One Championship Masters of Fate, which neither one of us watched, but I had interest in that card. I just didn't get a chance to watch it, but we'll read the results. And then as far as the breakdowns of cards that we actually did get to watch, we will talk about the Inoue versus Donaire fight. Of course, we got to talk about KSI versus Logan Paul, because why wouldn't we?
I mean, that was the biggest fight maybe of like the year.
Yeah. Y'all
I mean,
know why y'all are here.
I don't know if it made the zone any money, but 11,000 people watched an illegal stream of it on YouTube that was just reflected off of some guy's glasses. So
I saw that picture this morning.
Remember the was it the Max Holloway Aldo fight, the first one, where some dude on Twitch streamed the entire fight, pretending it was like an EA Sports UFC game.
Yeah. You gotta love it, man. We gotta get, these people need to get like some kind of prize or get put in some like Hall of Fame. Like that is some legendary. That's some legendary stuff, man. All you bootleggers out there, man, y'all do you'll never get your just due, but we appreciate you. But,
y'all some innovators.
Yeah, y'all keep things interesting. But we'll cover KSI versus Logan Paul, and we will finish off with UFC Moscow, which I don't think either of us have a whole lot to say about that card. But we'll get to it when we get to it. So, going from the top, I'll let you kick this off, Antar-Cool. If you have anything, what is on your mind this week?
Just some bullshit, you know.
Uh-oh.
No, it's not like, it's not anything major. But have you seen all these people dying because of gender reveal parties?
Didn't you shouldn't be laughing at this.
I shouldn't laugh because this is probably.
I can't remember the one I saw.
Is it the plane crash one?
No, I have to hear the story. I didn't like read the article. I saw like a quick headline and like a little subtext. And I was like, what is going on in the world? Like, I could not imagine like that's the way I go out. Like my last moments on Earth.
Like, I can't remember what it was. Like, there was one where like there was like an explosion that it could be felt like 200 miles away.
That's the one that I like. What? Like what? I don't know, man. Hold on, man. Now that you say this, I have to see if I can find.
Explosion at gender reveal party kills woman, officials say. Family members at the party where expectant parents were announcing the sex of their baby inadvertently created a pipe bomb that killed a woman in Iowa, a sheriff said. The woman, Pamela Kremeyer, 56, died instantly after she was struck in the head by a piece of metal from a device that was intended to reveal the sex of the baby, the Marion County Sheriff's Office said in a statement on Monday. Guests gathered things. On Saturday, members of the family and the expectant mom were home. About 40 miles southeast of Des Moines. Our investigation showed the members of the family were experimenting with different type of explosive material on Friday and Saturday in an attempt to record a gender reveal that could be posted on social media for friends and family. Basically, guys, all this performative shit about your baby is might eventually kill you.
Yeah, you should probably.
This has just been like the crazy thing about this is as like the stories are coming out, the following stories are getting more and more insane.
It's like they're trying to one up each other.
It's like I remember like one early where this like was it like the family alligator ate like a watermelon that had like a color inside that revealed the gender of the baby or something.
Well, first of all, who has a family alligator?
It's the South.
Florida. Yeah, what are you guys doing out here?
I will say the people on Twitter, they have been clutch. The one dude was like, "Oh no, I left my gender reveal rice pressure cooker on the train."
I
So
no,
that's what's been on my mind today.
God,
I feel bad for laughing because people died, but at
this
the
is
same time, if you're playing with explosives,
yeah. Like, come on, man. Like, we stop trying to flex for social media, man. I don't know. I have my own ideas about those gender reveal parties, but I'll shut up. I don't know. A lot of that stuff I don't get. I don't
uh,
understand.
the other thing is like I don't live in New York, but it's right there. So this is like the shit with the mayor. I forgot his name already. He was running for president.
Oh,
Um,
Bloomberg.
Bloomberg. No, not Bloomberg. The other one. Well, him too, because that was. You know what? I'm gonna talk about that instead of like uh New York subway system and the police. That's my shot for today. Them, fuck them. But Bloomberg, I want to be a consultant because all you do is get paid for reassuring billionaires that they're popular. 'Cause did you see his election map?
No.
It was from 2016, and they were like, these are all the states you could win in if you were to run as a third party candidate against Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And oh my God, it was like the funniest thing because he couldn't get to 270, but he got to like 201,
Mm.
and it was the funniest freaking thing because it's like these all these dickheads did was like sit around and do like cocaine for like a week and then came to Bloomberg with this map to make him feel better about himself.
He'd end up dropping out like 3 weeks in. God,
I mean,
I don't know, man. I just
he'd be like the Starbucks guy, Schultz. He's like people were mean to me on Twitter, so I stopped trying.
God,
But Sensei, I know you had something on your mind, so please.
yeah. For all my gamers out there, man. First of all, shout out to everybody who came through to my Twitch stream. My Twitch stream went pretty well Friday night. That is because I've been playing Death Stranding. It is a game that a lot of people have been curious about. The trailer, uh, based on the trailer, you can't really tell what this game's about. And I'm 3 hours in, and I still don't really know all of what's going on. But I can say I'm having a good time so far. If you're familiar with Kojima games, Metal Gear Solid, you know Kojima has a mind of his own. He's a very unique person to say the least. And that bleeds into his games. And this has been like the most Kojima game I've ever played, and I'm only 3 hours in. And it is really, I'm trying to figure out like the short synopsis from what I kind of sort of understand of this game is, and they don't really explain this all the way. I'm gonna assume because I'm not really that far into the story, or maybe they never explained it. I don't know, but the world was created, and then at some point the world got destroyed, or like nearly destroyed, and now we're trying to kind of piece the world back together again, and we're trying to reconnect. There's a very heavy theme of like connecting and reconnecting with society and bringing people together. They do use a lot of wordplay in the dialogue in terms of connecting and ropes and strands, and it's all like kind of interwoven. I feel like there's a bigger picture that's gonna happen eventually, but that's kind of the basis of the game. And then in between that, there's all these supernatural craziness going on. Like apparently, if you die in this world, you become a BT, I guess, which is this little crazy demon thing. And they're luckily none of them killed me yet. I had almost a near bad encounter. But you spend the game just delivering these packages. You're like a UPS mecca. Like you get all of these Amazon packages. And you just deliver them to a lot of points. But in between, you gotta be careful that the BT demons don't get you. This game, I've never seen a game focus so heavy on walking mechanics. Like literally, if you lean too far over, you'll fall. If you go down a hill too fast, you'll fall over. You can drop your packages. You can damage them, which will mess up your rating. It's it's a lot. It's a lot. And I'll say in short, because I will talk about this forever. I like Kojima's weirdness. It keeps me entertained. So I'm having a blast with this game. And after we record this podcast, I'll probably clean up, eat some lunch, and then I'm probably gonna hop right back on it and stream it again. But I can say I don't think this is a game for everybody. A lot of the reviews of this were mixed, and this is definitely probably one of those games that you'd either love it or you'd hate it. Probably not a whole lot in between. But nah, if you want to see footage of it, follow me on Twitch at Serial Sensei. I have a 3-hour stream that I just did the other day, so it's still in my library, so you can go look at it. And by the time you guys hear this episode, I'll be streaming again. So that's Death Stranding. I love it so far. Watch my stream if you just want to see what it's about and whether or not you're willing to invest some dollars into it. But that's what we got for what's on our minds this week. So let's move on to some news and notes. I have a couple of news stories and a little bit of flight announcements. Not really too heavy. I'll start with some. Oh no, we'll start with the serious news. Minor update on the Walt Harris situation, at least the last that I saw. Found an article that said last night. Well, all right, so this is a couple days ago. So this is on November 7th. So that was at the time of this article. So last night, November 7th, around 11 p.m., gentleman named Ibrahim Yazid in Pensacola, Florida, was taken into custody in connection with the disappearance of Naoya Blanchard, who you all know is Walt Harris' stepdaughter. He will be charged with first-degree kidnapping and is being held without bond. And I think you had mentioned the last time we did this podcast about they found the vehicle. The vehicle was messed up, and but they have him in custody. That's the last that I saw. Still no signs of Blanchard yet, but it seems at least we have the person who kidnapped her.
Yeah.
So, but she has still not been found. At least at the time of this recording, she has not been found. So, you can search. I don't have them in front of me, but you can pretty much find any article. Like if you have information, they list the number that you can find. I think they did say that there was actually, I'm gonna just read this real quick. There was a witness who said that he pretty much saw her. The witness saw Yassi pretty much forcing Blanchard into the vehicle against her will. So yeah, this was definitely a kidnapping of sorts. So, really sad situation. We'll keep updates as they come, but that's the last that I've heard of it as of a few days ago. On to some lighter news. Access TV, as we mentioned last week, they cut ties with LFA. LFA moved on to Fight Pass. But Access TV is not done in MMA. They signed a broadcast deal with Combate Americas. They will be broadcasting 35 of their events in 2020. The cards will air on Friday nights, and they'll also have a Best of Combate Americas program, which will probably be good to watch if you're not familiar with that promotion. Tito Ortiz is going to be in that promotion too at a pay-per-view, but we ain't going to talk about that. That's the thing. UFC cuts. A lot of people got let go. 12 people to be exact. I'm going to read this list, and then we'll briefly... There are only 2 people who I want to talk about, and I'll ask you if you have any thoughts on... well, you know what? Two in a possible. But fighters who were cut from the UFC as of recent. Curtis Melender, Derek Krantz, Nolan Hernandez, Andre Sukumtat, Maya Stevenson, Kyle Stewart, Henry Bionis, Manny Bermudez, Yoshinori Hori, Thomas Gifford, Danilo Belluardo, and Azamat Mirzakhanov. Of those names, are any of those surprising to you? Or maybe not surprising, just people who you would hope not to see cut.
Like, I guess Melender, but at the same time, like, okay, you got 2 fights in a row where you could not, stop the wrestling of your opponent, and like welterweight's not hurting for action fighters, so it makes sense that they this was what his 5th fight, so his contract was up. So I'm not sure if he got cut so much as like his contract was up and he was renegotiating. He wanted more money because he was 3-2, but he was coming off of 2 losses, and they just couldn't reach like a deal or something like that. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but it's kind of it's a little not great that he got cut. He's a really fun dude. Um, like I'm trying to think. Who you mind reading some of those names again? Because
Melender, Derek Krantz, Nolan Hernandez, Andre Sukumtat. I'd say probably the most notables. Manny Bermudez, and Yoshinori Hori.
you know what? I don't think any of them. None besides like Melender really surprises me. I do feel a little bad for Aurier because if I remember right, he was beating Dawoodu before, or at least he was like showing that he was really tough. Prior to like getting knocked out. Kind of feel bad for Sukumtat. Like a lot of those fights, he probably could have won, or should have won anyway, but didn't. Yeah, no, it's pretty predictable, I guess. Like Bermudez is like I guess the other one, but like he missed at 135, and then he moves up to 145 and misses again, and then loses.
Yeah, yeah, the weight definitely hurt him. For me, I would say, yeah, I didn't like the Melender cut. I really wanted to see, and it could be being biased because I'm a Melender fan, but I could have at least seen him do one more, maybe. I just feel like that division just has a lot of fun matchups that I would have liked to see him in. And he did have a winning record, even though he was on a 2-fight skid. But I would have liked to see Melender stay around. I definitely wanted to see Yoshinori Hori get another shot because that was like his only fight, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So that I thought I would have liked to see him get another shot. Manny, I understand because of the weight cutting issues, and yeah, kind of like you said about Sukumtat, like his record wasn't great, but a lot of those fights, like he just had a lot of really unfortunate losses that he just didn't bounce his way, or just like something crazy would happen in the fight. And then the Gifford only stuck out because like he was such a story because of that fight where he got beat to a pulp, and now he's not here no more. So I don't know, but good news for Melender though. He did sign with Bellator like right after that cut happened. So don't know if he has an opponent yet, but he does have another home. I'm pretty sure some of these guys will find hopefully places to land. I feel like a Yoshinori Hori. The way he fights, he's the kind of guy who can keep probably a sustainable career overseas somewhere. But that's what we got for UFC cuts. For fight announcements, real quick. After his very quick dismantling of my homie Arlovsky, Jairzinho Rozenstruik will be back at UFC Washington, D.C., headlining against Alistair Overeem at Bellator Salute the Troops on December 20th. We'll have Josh Barnett versus Hani Marks. This boxing fight that you brought to my attention that I don't really want to watch, but I'm probably going to watch, also on December 20th. Danny Jacobs versus Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yeah.
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 So let's all get hyped for that one. That's fight of the year written all over. Not really. But that's all I got. Any news you got that I might have missed? Or just any thoughts on any of those matchups?
They are both really depressing, but for different reasons, I guess. I don't know if that's like newsworthy, but that's how I feel. Let me just check my. Oh, I have one bit of news. Nobody who didn't watch K1 back when they had like all the heavyweights in the world will care, but Daniel Daniel Dubois versus Kyotaro, December 21st. Daniel Dubois, really big heavyweight prospect right now, 13-0, 12 knockouts. Looked really sharp in his last fight. Gradually working his way up the heavyweight scene. He's fighting Kyotaro, a Japanese heavyweight, really rare, who some of you may remember as the former K1 heavyweight champion. Yeah, beat Gokhan Saki, Melvin Manhoof, Peter Aerts, and Jerome O'Banner before being beat by Gegard Mousasi for the title.
That's a nice run.
Yeah.
that's a nice run.
Mind you, he beat Aerts and LeBanner when they were really old and in like a tournament. But, you know, win's a win.
Yeah.
But he's most famously known for losing to Gegard badly. Couldn't get past the jab, which probably doesn't bode well for his, run at heavyweight. Like his best win is against this dude named Ishida, who is best known for knocking out James Kirkland, who is a middleweight. So,
So he might get worked.
He might get worked. What else? Nicole Adams, the two-time Olympic gold medalist from the UK, retired from boxing because of word was from her doctor that any more blows to her face could permanently damage her eyesight. So she retired at 37 years old. Yeah, so that sucks. But that's all I got.
All right. So that's your news and notes for the week. Say a prayer for Overeem, man. That fight. I'm being nervous wreck.
Alright, Overeem just shoots for a double leg.
Yeah, gets his head taken off with an uppercut. Something. I don't know. Y'all know how Overeem fights go, man. Just keep your head on the swivel. I don't know, man. Overeem fights they're roller coaster rides. They're roller coaster rides. But that's news and notes for the week. So, man, let's get into the dojo breakdown. Let's talk about some fights. I say breakdown, but we're going to breeze through these first two cards because neither one of us really watched them all that much. But they're worth of mention. So we will quickly, and I mean quickly, run through Bellator 233, which went down on Friday night. I got a chance to catch not much of this card at all, but it was a thing, so I figured I'd mention it. This was headlined by John Salter versus Costello Van Steenis. At middleweight, John Salter won a unanimous decision. I can't tell you how the fight went because I didn't watch it. The headline I saw said that Salter edged it out, so I'm gonna assume it was a close fight, even though he did get a unanimous decision. But maybe it was a decent fight. I don't know. I didn't see it, so. But that happened. Co-main event. Andrew Capel faced off against King Mo, who was supposed to have retired, but we all know MMA retirements aren't real. But unfortunately, King Mo apparently got beat up pretty bad. I didn't want to watch the KO, so I just didn't look at it, but I heard it wasn't pretty. So yeah.
He got KO'd Kimbo Slice style. Off the one leg.
Yikes. Yeah. Maybe I'll go back and watch it. I don't like after hearing like how King Mo after he retired, the way he was describing how his body was, I kind of just don't want to.
Yeah, this was unnecessary.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Again, at the same time, where else is King Mo going to make six figures?
Yeah. Yeah. Sucks, man. That fighter life, man. It can be brutal. It can be brutal. But Capel got King Mo out of there within 1 round. Moving on down the card at women's featherweight, Ariane Blenko defeated Leslie Smith via unanimous decision, and prospect Tyrell Fortune. Is it Fortune or Fortune? I don't know why I always say Fortune.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna say Fortune. That's easier.
I
He
think
stays-
it's 4-2. I could
Probably
be
is.
wrong though.
He stays undefeated. Now 8-0. He got a knockout win over Azuna Anyanwu. It was a pretty good knockout. I don't remember it in detail, but I did watch this fight. So go check that out. And just some quick notable mentions on the prelims. Tyrell's brother Tyree also stays undefeated at 5-0. He got a split decision over Chuck Campbell. A lot of people did not agree with the decision. But, go watch. You can see for yourself. Prospect Logan Storley, now 11-0, defeated EJ Brooks. He got a TKO via doctor stoppage or corner stoppage due to an arm injury. But Logan Storley remains undefeated. Julius Angelicus defeated Jordan Young via unanimous decision. Amanda Bell defeated Janae Harding via KO in round 3. And prospect Romero Cotton, he is 4-0. He got a verbal knee injury win over Jason Parada. Oh, and Christian Edwards. I give him a shout out. Christian Edwards, now 2-0, got a KO win over Cesar Bennett. Nasty head kick KO. Definitely go watch that. Go watch that. That was a nasty KO. But that was Bellator 233. Like I said, didn't really get to watch it, but I think that's on Bellator's website. Should be uploaded now, so go give that a look if you are halfway interested. One championship, Masters of Fate. One had a card. I'll quickly run through this because I forgot it was a thing and I didn't get a chance to catch any of it. But just a quick few notable fights. Joshua Pacio defeated Renee Catalan, I don't know if I'm saying that right, via arm triangle choke in round 2. Edward Foliang defeated Tuskugu Armansana. I probably butchered that terribly. Via decision. I'm just going to skip around. Gigi Estaquio. I forgot. This is men's strawweight. I forgot what division he's in.
Wait, who?
Estaquio.
I want to say it's a flyweight.
Is it flyweight?
Let me.
I thought it was like strawweight. Because they have like a really small, don't they?
They have a strawweight division, yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was a strawweight.
Let me pull this up.
I could be wrong though. But Gigi Estaquio had a nasty spinning back kick KO against Tony Taru. Like, it landed really flush. It looked really painful. It's one of those kicks that reminds me, like, yeah, I don't want to fight, man. I don't want to know what that feels like.
Yeah.
it was one of those. But it was a beautiful kick. But, God, it just looked painful. But Gigi won via KO spinning back kick in round 3. Nong Stamp defeated, I don't know if it's B or Bai Nguyen via unanimous decision. There are a bunch of other fights on this card, but those are the only couple that I really cared to mention. I'm going to assume those are one card. It's probably a good time. One normally has pretty good cards. The other one, championship, Masters of Fate. All right. Let's get to some fights that we can like actually talk about. No, I'll let you kick off the Inoue Donaire.
All right, so for the World Boxing Super Series bantamweight tournament, if you don't know, they had the junior welterweight tournament earlier this year, or the final for the tournament earlier this month, or last month, I should say. Josh Taylor beat Regis Price for the junior welterweight tournament, and this time around they had the bantamweight tournament final, and it featured Naoya Inoue versus Nonito Donaire. All right, so just a little backstory for the tournament. Donaire kind of lucked out a little bit, which is why nobody was really high on him heading into the final, despite him being like a legend and the second best Filipino boxer in the last generation. behind Manny Pacquiao. Dude kind of lucked out against Ryan Burnett. Ryan Burnett threw a cross early in their fight, and it completely threw his hip out, and he was forced to retire from that fight. And in the second round, he was supposed to fight Zolani Tete. Um, and Zolani Tete ended up getting hurt, so he ended up fighting a younger, less experienced Stephen Young for a spot in the final. And he ended up knocking out Stephen Young. I shouldn't say younger, but like a less experienced, less proven fighter than Tete and Stephen Young. So he kind of lucked his way into the final, but he looked great here. And Naoya Inoue ended up taking a unanimous decision to claim the bantamweight title, but he looked really good in doing so. He ate everything Inoue threw at him, and Inoue is one of the top 5 like relative power punchers in boxing right now. His run through this division has been nothing but him knocking out the very best fighters in it, including was it Jamie McDonnell and crap, I'm forgetting the other dude's name. Juan Carlos Payano, Emmanuel Rodriguez, like knocking them all out really early in fights. Donaire, for the first 6 or 7 rounds, basically ate everything Inoue threw at him, and then rounds 7, 8, 9, and 10 really started pushing forward as Inoue either tired or he was dealing with a cut that he got early on in the fight. I want to say it was like in the second round. Like there was a deep cut above his left eye, or his right eye, I'm sorry. That, according to him, gave him double vision for the entirety of the fight.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially considering what happened in, like, I can remember around 8 or 9 when he got clocked.
Yeah, no, he was fighting on, he was basically fighting, like, you know, he was fighting impaired the entirety of the fight. And still great in the process. But like I said, Donaire came forward, like you said, tagged the shit out Inoue in those middle rounds. Inoue rallied late. Like he said after the fight, like his whole thing was like, okay, I banked enough rounds early on. I wanted to make sure I can finish strong. So he came out in round 11, all with like a new vigor, and ended up dropping Donaire on a nasty body shot. That probably should not probably, it should have been a knockout. So what ended up happening is Inoue hit Donaire to the body. Donaire
He made him do the running man.
Yeah, Donaire ran away. Like he turned away from Inoue and started running towards the ropes. Inoue jumped in to follow, but the referee got in his way. And then like 3 or 4 seconds later, Donaire took a knee and the ref started counting. And he got all the way to 10. Despite giving him an extra 4 seconds before Donaire got up and he let the fight continue. Inoue thought he had won. That's like, if you see him, he starts celebrating once the referee hits 10. But no, the fight continued, and props to Donaire, despite eating that nasty body shot, he survived to the end of the round and the end of the fight. And honestly, fight of the year. It's up there with the Taylor Proace fight. It's up there with Spence Porter. Just all around terrific fight. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's great.
Yeah, this was I was watching this for the first time at work, so I wasn't able to devote like my full attention. So like in the snippets that I was seeing, I guess I was just seeing all the parts where Inoue was just kind of doing work.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really catch the full gravity of how good the fight was until I rewatched it when I got home with like no distractions. I was like, oh man, like, and especially putting like a lot of this in like context, like, and I've said on this podcast plenty of times, I'm nowhere nearly as knowledgeable in boxing as I am in MMA, but just for context, like, Donaire is what, 37 years old?
37, 36, something like that.
Yeah, fighting a How was Inoue? Like 20.
26.
Yeah. So you got the old line versus the young line. And in most cases, it's just the optics of this kind of fight, no matter what sport you're looking at. It's one of those setup fights where it's like, we're not really expecting much from the old guy here. He might be competitive a couple rounds, but he's probably going to get put down maybe like midway through the fight. And, you know, passing, not going to say passing of the torch, but you know, like, it's a swan song, kind of, sort of. But, like, Donaire really made this like he made it like a dogfight. Like, all of the, like, Inoue was hitting him with some really clean shots, really clean hooks that were landing really flush, and Donaire was just, like, not going anywhere. Like you said, for, like, those first 5 to 6 rounds. But that stretch of rounds from probably, like, 7 to, like, 12 was just crazy to watch. Because you spent the first 5, you're just looking like, all right, Donaire, like, at some point you got to fall apart. And it's not like he was getting completely, like, smoked. Like, he was still landing shots of his own. But, you know, Inoue was winning, definitely. But
He was
like,
getting cracked, though.
yeah, like, Inoue he was landing some bombs on Donaire. And it's like, all right, at some point, Donaire's got to slow down, or, you know, at some point, the chin's got to crack. And it didn't. It did not crack. And then, like, that last stretch, when you think, like, Inoue's going to put him away, I think Donaire caught him with, I can't remember, I think, like, Inoue jabbed and Donaire countered with, like, a right. But, like, he cracks Inoue with the right, and you see Inoue take that stumble, and it's like, oh, snap, the fight. We got a fight now. Like, and you got to think, as good a condition Inoue's in, it's like, I know you got to be tired a little bit. Then you catch that right hand, and now the complexity, everything in the fight just changes. And now you see Inoue's got to retreat, but he recovers really well. And just when you think, like, the momentum is going to swing to Donaire, because he's able to kind of put it together better in those last couple rounds, you get that body shot. And you see Donaire do the little running man across the ring, which I didn't notice that he had celebrated. I just kept laughing because the way he did, like, he did like the old man pedal, like, hold up, youngin, like, that hurt a little bit. Yeah, and he hit the little back up, went to the knee. But nah, that last stretch of, like, those last 5 rounds was, like, phenomenal to watch. This was an amazing fight. This was an amazing fight.
Yeah, it's why it kills me that, like, the bantamweight and lower divisions don't really get that much pull here in the U.S. In part because, like, currently the best American fighter is in this division is the Puerto Rican Emmanuel Rodriguez, who we saw Inoue knock the shit out of. And then after that it's Rashid Warren, who you might remember from, like, the 2012 Olympic boxing team. But this division is great. And the fight between Inoue and Luis Neri would be amazing and everything I want. Actually, I almost forgot. There's a bit of news coming off of this. Inoue, first off, Inoue suffered a fractured orbital and a broken nose as a result of Donaire's offense in this fight. So, you know, he made like, apparently that punch that opened up that cut in the first round also broke his orbital,
which might delay his because I can't remember, was that the thing last time?
Yeah,
we mentioned that he signed Inoue signed to Top Rank.
Yes, that was the other bit of news. He signed with Top Rank, and the goal is to get him to fight in the U.S. twice a year. So you might get the chance to see Inoue fight in America live, which I would totally go do if they do it in New York or Atlantic City or something.
And it'll be dope to just see him in front of a different audience. You know, ESPN will be a lot more accessible.
I hope he makes a lot of money. Freaking, I know he's a superstar in Japan. As of the time of recording, I don't think the entire, like, TV ratings came out for this fight, but they got it for the Kanto region, which is about 43% of the Japanese population, and just that region alone, it had 8 million viewers live at its peak, the fight. So it's probably going to end up somewhere around like 16 million people tuning in Japan to watch him fight, which is 100 times more than he'll get here in the U.S. But
Right.
you know, there's just more money floating around here.
I would say, man, you guys.
I hope like Top Rank has been terrible about booking their champions over the past couple of years. I hope Inoue gets like the fight with Neri or somebody, just somebody.
Yeah, dude is he's a dog, man. I would liken it to like people if you don't really no because we mainly cover combat MMA, but I know maybe not all of you guys may be boxing fans, but I would kind of liken it to the way like how in MMA, I can't even just say the UFC. I feel like it's in most promotions in general. Like the lighter weight classes are putting on like all of the best fights, and I feel like it's not just MMA. Like it's across every combat sports. Like the little dudes are just out here, like just consistently putting on really, really, really high level performances. And this is another one of those. But if you've never seen an Inoue fight, I mean, he's got highlights up on YouTube. But get a chance next year in 2020 when he's up on ESPN. I don't know if he'll be on ESPN or ESPN Plus. Hopefully both. I don't know. We'll see how that turns out. But definitely, man, give Naoya Inoue a look, man. Really amazing fighter. But also just a lot of respect to Donaire for a 37-year-old. I don't know if that is his last fight. I don't know. I honestly don't really follow him that close. But for a 37-year-old, even though it was a losing performance, you can't really ask much more from a guy like that. Like, you can't really ask more. That's about as good as you're gonna do. I guess in a losing effort. I don't mean to sound like morbid, but like, for 37-year-old, that's a crazy performance to put on. But Naoya Inoue versus Donaire, go give that a look. If you got the zone, it's up on the zone, and there are probably other alternative methods you can use to watch if you see fit.
Yeah.
But nah, amazing fight, man. Definitely go give that a look. All right.
Now the real boxing match.
Yeah, right. Let's go from world class to another class.
I was gonna say world star.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
So before I just want to read the website Boxing Scene. One of the writers tweeted out from the main account. Was it Boxing Scene? Yes, it was Boxing Scene. They tweet out from the main account. I'm gonna just read it. Spoke to several people who ordered the DAZN card just to watch the main event. They trashed the undercard and felt KSI versus Logan Paul was great because they had no idea what they were watching. They don't understand what boxing is. They want a tough man bout, not a boxing match. # new fans. And I feel like that's where we can jump off with this conversation between KSI and Logan Paul. And what's wrong with boxing, honestly? Because, all right, so I don't know why Billy Joe Saunders was on this card, other than they needed they're contractually obligated to give him fights, and this was probably where he could do the least amount of damage because no one likes him. But Devin Haney's a fun fighter when he has somebody in front of him, and they put nobody in front of him for him to fight. So when you have two basically walkover fights where the A side looks, I don't know, just like bothered to be there and like they're just doing the bare minimum to win. No shit, the two popular people in the main event who might not be very good but are giving it their all and having a competitive fight will look like superstars next to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It'd be like that.
Like, so, I'm on record as saying I was in the fence, like the fight, the fact that this fight was like a money fight, and like people were like clamoring to be on the card, and the promoter was throwing money behind it. Who was promoting this? Was it Warren? It was a Hearn. It was Eddie Hearn. I was not in the least bit upset about it because since that we've been around a while now, right?
Yeah.
We've seen the bevy of different circus fights, and to be honest, combat sports is basically all circus fight, but some fights take it to that next level. I remember living through McGregor Mayweather and having every pundit and every stand fan and just out and about screaming about how it was a competitive fight and how MMA angles were like the key to McGregor knocking Mayweather out and proving he's the best in both sports and blah 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 blah. And like that felt gross to me. Like a complete mischaracterization of the fight heading into it. This did not. This was two guys with equal experience, equal like boxing training, who don't like each other. Who just had a grudge match. Who just had a grudge match for a lot of money because they had a lot of fans, and I'm fine with that. I am 150,000% fine with that.
I was like, compared to all of the other freak fights we've seen throughout the years, this one wasn't that bad.
It wasn't even the grossest fight of this weekend.
Like, this wasn't terrible.
Dude,
Looking forward to the trilogy.
hardest.
Yeah, looking forward to the trilogy. Like, here's the thing. Like, kind of like you said, it's and maybe I'm a little detached because I don't have any connection to either of these two. I'm just kind of here for the shenanigans. I just want to see a train wreck. I just want to see some madness unfold. But like, for what this was, for what we knew it was gonna be, I don't think this was really that terrible. Sure, there was. I didn't watch the pre-fight presser, so I don't know what was said. I'm pretty sure it was wild. Probably a lot of nonsense going on.
We'll get to Shannon Briggs in a second.
Oh yeah, Shannon Briggs was really the star of the show. But like, sure, was the fight? Was the technique the greatest? Nah, not really. Could they have probably looked better? Maybe so. But like, it was 6 rounds. And it was mildly entertaining. I've seen professional fights between two people I care about that were actually much worse than this. So like, I can't really. And like, we kind of know how this goes. Like, in a perfect world, which we don't live in and we'll probably never live in, but should the legit boxers who are like actual champions be the headliners? Yes, we know that. We all know that. But when you throw in fame and numbers and views, which in today's world, everything digital, like that stuff unfortunately matters. So yeah, the two kids that none of us really care about who just run YouTube channels or rap, whatever they do, I don't know. I don't pay them any attention.
Yes.
Yeah, they're going to get the headline. Sorry.
Dude,
That's the thing, though. Like, one of the things, two things. Like, when I call combat sports a freak show, like, whatever, that's because, like, unlike the NBA and unlike the NFL and unlike MLB and then, like, I guess the NHL and MLS and all the, like, international soccer or whatever, when you're really good at those sports, it sells itself. Combat sports is the only sport where headliners matter. You know what I mean?
All right. So that's what people tune in for. They
tune in for the person, not the obviously there are like people like us who tune in for everything and we want to see like skilled fights and the best fight the best, but like most people don't turn it into like even when Floyd was like even though Floyd was the best boxer in the world, a good amount of the audience didn't tune in to see him be the best boxer in the world. They tuned in to be part of they turned in to be part of the experience.
Yeah, it was the experience, or you wanted to be there in case Floyd lost.
Right. They wanted to see a star fight.
Yeah.
And to an extent, that's why Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is still around. And to another extent, that's why we got KSI versus Logan Paul getting paid $1 million each to fight a 6-rounder against one another.
Yeah.
I like. What was my other point? Oh, that's it. And one other thing, like one of the things I love about combat sports is that like they are accessible to everybody. Meaning, you can be like a 45-year-old pencil pusher, and on the weekends you can still go do like Golden Gloves or something. You know what I mean?
All right.
Or you can be a pro boxer. You can be a journeyman. Like, freaking, like, you're gonna tell me that like Tony Lopez, when he's not fighting, is like working as a mechanic somewhere. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
this is a side hobby to a lot of people. That's what I love about it. Like, it's not like basketball or football where like you have to be committed, or not so much that you have to be committed, but like, there is more between being a professional and then being like an amateur. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and in the NBA, that can't be. You can't have a side job.
Right.
That is that's your full-time gig.
But
there's
even
no
beyond
side.
that, like there like I guess you can find like a professional basketball league, like in your local area, but it's not the same.
Right.
So like I love the fact that literally just anybody can put on boxing gloves and like call
Yeah.
themselves like a professional boxer.
And I guess before we get into the fight,
Oh, right.
Shannon Briggs.
Shannon Briggs. All right, so Shannon Briggs.
Well, I was gonna say one more. What was I gonna say? God, I got old. No, like I was gonna say the one thing that redeems like I guess like freak fights or circus fights for me is at least it was done in a professional manner. Like both these guys trained with professionals. They went to reputable gyms, had reputable trainers, actually put in some work. I got to give them a little bit of credit.
Oh yeah, like these dudes were like they tried.
Yeah, they legit like these are two guys. I think Logan Paul was a football player. I don't know if KSI has any like athletic background or anything, but like these are basically two dudes off the street who really did like go into gyms, try to like learn something from some very very reputable people, and really went in there and like tried to fight. Like I can't even really be. It'd be different if this was like some world star backyard brawl, like you know. But they legitimized it as much as you could for a fight like this.
Right.
And I can't really hate on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew what I came here for.
Yeah.
I knew what I was doing.
I did not feel lied to, except maybe by Shannon Briggs.
All right, let's get into.
All right, so I'm just gonna read the quote that Shannon Briggs gave at the fight conference earlier this week before everything went down. So with that being said, if I could do it, a kid that weighed 200 pounds at birth, a kid that weighed 2 pounds at birth, less than 2 pounds at birth, asthmatic all my life, picked on and bullied. If I can do it, Logan Paul can do it too. With the money he has, he could be heavyweight champ in 5 years. I'm telling you, mark my words. Let's go, champ.
Shannon Briggs is a national treasure, man.
Also, Shannon Briggs, who was again in Logan Paul's corner for this fight, trained him a bit alongside Jeff Mayweather. He also tried to get into a fight with a member of KSI's training team. Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. He might have got into a fight with Jeff Mayweather.
Yeah, I think Jeff trained KSI.
Yeah, Jeff trained KSI.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I got my guys mixed up. Okay, so the 47-year-old boxer was betrayed, blah, blah, blah. But Briggs was involved in an altercation with KSI's head trainer, Vidal Riley, and his team after a weigh-in on Friday. Briggs punched Riley's cousin while Riley had to be restrained by security staff at the event.
Jeez,
So,
Briggs.
so Shannon Briggs might be pushing 50, but like he hits hard as fuck.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how terrifying that is.
And you know what? I applaud both cornermen, but more so Briggs because he was probably the more visible one of the night. I applaud the passion that they really put, and I don't know if it was an act, if they were just selling it, or if they really felt that way. Probably a little bit of both, because I imagine everybody in this situation got paid pretty handsomely. But I just applaud the passion that really went into this, to them really trying to coach these guys up. Because boy,
Shannon Briggs does not know anything but passion. Anything that man does, he does with 100% conviction.
Yeah. And you gotta respect him, man. Shannon was on 100 all night when they were interviewing him during rounds, and I can't remember the reporter's name, but she's like, what do you got to do this round, and how does he get back in the fight? And Briggs is like half answering her question, and he's like 1 2 1 2 1 1 2, like he is he's really out there, man. But as far as the fight, I'm not mad at it. Like
it was fine. It was fine. It was a fight between two guys who only had one amateur fight between each, and
right.
It reflected in how they fought. I mean, that shit was pretty good for like guys with one amateur fight each, but they've also spent a lot of money probably training for this fight, so it makes sense, I guess. Like
to go 6 hard rounds. Like I ain't gonna lie, and then I know a lot. I feel like there are some purists who probably listen to us. They probably clicked off already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. But like, I gotta respect that they really did go 6 hard rounds, cause like I can shadow box in my basement for 5 minutes and get gassed pretty easily.
Mm.
To go 6 hard rounds when you're actually getting punched for real, like. I'm shadow boxing. There's nothing hitting me back.
Right.
I'm swinging that air. There's nothing there. They're actually getting hit. And albeit, yeah, it don't look pretty, but you're still getting punched. To go 6 hard rounds, like, you got to respect it. KSI was falling in love with that winging right hand.
That man has been training probably like a year and a half since that first fight happened, and he has not gotten any better. And Logan Paul has been training since that fight, and he looked like he got better, but he was afraid to do anything about it.
Yeah, he looked a lot more.
Gun.
He looked a little more hesitant, a little more gunshot.
Yeah,
and
it cost him the fight.
Really, yeah.
I don't know if we mentioned it. KSI won by split decision.
Yeah. You know what though? I guess a quick little. Because KSI probably won because it was only a 6-round fight, and KSI jumped out a lead. He was pitching a shutout up until there was some shenanigans going on in terms of knockdowns where
that were and were not called.
Yeah, like that KSI right hand that caught Logan Paul behind the ear, that was a knockdown.
Yes,
that should have been a knockdown.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, maybe somebody threw some money somewhere, told the ref look the other way. Or maybe they just wanted to drag it out all the way. I don't know. You have your own conspiracy theories. But, like, they didn't score the knockdown for whatever reason. Fight continues on. They don't score it as a knockdown. And then Logan Paul gets his knock. And you know what, though? I'll give Logan Paul credit. That first uppercut that he landed, that put KSI down, that uppercut was clean.
Yep.
That was a nice uppercut. Like, he weaved out of the way and just kind of, he snuck that one in there real nice. I gotta give credit for that. That was a nice uppercut.
And then you have to instantly take it away because he decided to hit KSI while he was down.
Yeah, it got a little MMA-ish in there. wrong arena for that one, buddy.
Yeah, but, and ends up getting 2 points taken.
Yeah, that was a whole situation. So. But it was expected, man. Like we knew we were about to watch some wild. That's what that's why I kind of hate when people get so like upset. Like it's one thing if you get upset and decide not to watch. I respect it. Because at least you're like, you know what, I'm committed to not.
I'm not committed to the gimmick.
Yeah, and you know what, that probably pissed a lot of people off. That's how I feel about bare knuckle. I can't. That's that line for me that I just can't like. I can't commit myself to this. This ain't it for me. But I don't watch it. I don't watch it. I don't comment on it. That's cool. But if you're gonna watch this and subject yourself to all 6 rounds, you gotta be all in, man. You know what you're here for. Like, be here for the train wreck.
Yeah.
We don't complain about it. We're all here on the same boat. We know what's going on.
I mean, if I'm complaining about anything, I'm complaining that this fight wasn't like a bigger like train wreck.
Right. It wasn't as many. Because if you take out the knockdown shenanigans, it wasn't as big of a train wreck as you'd think it would be. Aside from, like, you know, technique not going to look great, but obviously it's 2 guys who don't have really any experience, but, you know, it wasn't really that bad of a train wreck.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was a fight between guys who had 0 pro fights between them.
Exactly. And that's what we saw. Logan Paul probably should keep his hands up a little more, though. I felt like he could string together some decent combinations when he tried, but he just didn't try a lot. Didn't was a little gun shy. But, you know, it's a couple good jabs, winging right hands, you know. It was pretty much like a heavyweight fight. It wasn't that far off.
I mean, they were cruiserweights.
Right. It wasn't that far off for some prelim heavyweight fights that we've all watched and made fun of or maybe even enjoyed as like a guilty pleasure. But like I applaud this a little more because these are guys who don't have any experience compared to, you know, like legit professionals, and they're out here going for it, man. I ain't mad at it. But KSI won via split decision, and what was a fight. I don't know how to rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, but, you know, if you want to see some winging right hands, shenanigans with knockdowns, and a 1 clean uppercut, maybe a couple jabs, probably should have been better, go watch it. Crowd was hype. Everybody was hype. The energy in the building looked crazy.
So,
Shannon
no.
Briggs
We are not breezing past this.
Oh.
I've been waiting all episode to talk about it. Can we talk about the crowd real quick?
Yeah, I'll let you. I'll let you handle this.
So yeah, so in this fight between YouTubers in, you know, Los Angeles, of course. I don't even know how to put it. There were 3 porn stars in attendance to the fight, who kind of just started twerking in the background if you were like watching the fight from like and paying attention to the crowd. And 1 peed on the floor. The Staples Center almost got kicked out.
Hey.
So just a terrific night for boxing.
Everybody had it. It looked like everybody had an amazing time.
Yeah, like this is a good time. Everybody got sauce. It's great.
And to be honest, like the crowd that they probably attracted, because I imagine it was a lot of younger.
That's the other thing I wanted to talk about. All the crowd shots were just.
Oh my god!
Were just incredible douchebags.
Like the young douche energy was really strong in that crowd.
Lots of dudes in ironic hoodies, like with pastel colors, and like wearing like ski hats in LA.
Some of them just look like the ultimate. They look like YouTubers, and I mean that in a bad way. They look like YouTubers and YouTube commenters. The way you envision them in your head.
A lot of Instagram influencers in there too.
Yeah. But I'll say though, I honestly, for as young as that crowd probably was, I expected like a lot more. Can't think of the word, like chaos or disrespect, maybe. I guess. I don't know. But you know they're peeing in the front row, so I guess you know can't really beat that. Unless you actually get kicked out. But yeah, that crowd was if you do watch the fight, just pay attention to the camera shots when they pan to the crowd faces. A lot of interesting looking folks in there. And, you know, KSI and Logan Paul pieced it up afterwards. You know, respect. All that good stuff. Integrity.
We can't believe we got away with this.
Right. Have fun with the bag, bro. Hey, man, I can't wait for the trilogy. That's all I'm saying. That's how I'm going to close that out. I'm waiting for the trilogy.
I can't wait till one of these dudes, because he won 2 fights or won a fight, is going to be like, oh, I could be a real boxer.
I'm going to happen. I know Logan Paul and Dylan Danis hadn't that been like a feud?
Yeah.
Isn't that a thing?
Eddie Hearn had Dylan Danis banned from the Staples Center because he was afraid he'd have to pay for more security. That's a real thing.
Oh, man. You know what? I know y'all are probably wondering, why did we spend so much time on this fight? Because, like, to be honest, man, Inoue Donaire was amazing. Amazing fight. Can't understate that enough. Outside of Inoue Donaire, I didn't get a lot out of this weekend, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, it was not like the. All right, so I had to work Saturday morning up until like 2 o'clock, so I did not catch most of the UFC prelims. I caught a little bit of the Pandy Kianzad, Jessica Rose Clark fight. Caught a little bit of the Grant fight against Popov. Was it Davey Grant? I think it was Davey Grant.
Yeah, David Grant. Yep.
I saw the Ankalaev knockout, which is gorgeous. So I basically was just stuck with the main card, and most of it was not inspiring.
Yeah.
Even the parts of it that I kind of enjoyed, or was just like, okay, that happened. But you know, we'll get to it, I guess. The main event was great, but even that felt like, God, this should have been a fucking rounder.
You felt like you got shortchanged.
Yeah, I feel gypped. I'm like, what? It's not 2009 anymore. Let's go.
All right.
Send them back out there.
Right. That would have been wild if like Dana just popped up like,
no,
you know, you got
you guys. There's no there's no athletic commission in Russia.
Right. You have to do. You don't do 2 more. You don't get. There's no pay. There's no bag. There's no pay. You gotta go finish. But you know what, man? We'll just. I mean, we closed out KSI Logan Paul. Split decision win for KSI. Yada yada. Can't wait for the trilogy. Moving on.
A lot of body jabbing in that fight.
Yeah.
More than you see in the UFC.
That's you're right. The amount of body jabs KSI threw is probably more than we've seen on this entire UFC card.
Hey, it's probably more than Calvin Kattar's ever thrown in his career. So what I'm saying is, KSI could probably outbox Calvin Kattar. He's got a better boxing record than Conor McGregor. So there you go.
You hate to see it, or do you love to see it? I don't know. Yeah, get that, Conor. You don't want that KSI smoke. That right hand catch you, it's over, buddy.
Can't wait till Conor McGregor starts a YouTube channel just so he could like set up this fight.
Oh man. But let's move on, man. Closing out of all the fights we'll be talking about. UFC Moscow, man. Headlined by Zabit, Magomedsharipov, and Calvin Kattar. A fight that we were supposed to get. I forgot when, but
like 3 weeks ago in Boston.
Yeah, didn't happen. Ironically, it was rescheduled for Zabit's hometown.
I don't think the word is ironically.
I put that in air quotes. Make of that what you will. Make of that. Hold up. And what I don't remember. Was the original one would have been a 5-rounder, right?
No, the original one was a 3-rounder. It was the co-main event of Reyes Weidman.
Okay.
It's a good thing this fight didn't happen on the Weidman Reyes card, because Calvin Kattar came out to Chris Weidman's theme song. Yeah. He won't back down.
Yeah.
Except in the first 2 rounds.
So yeah, just starting from the top. Zabit versus Kattar. I was on record picking Kattar to win. I thought
Same here.
I envisioned Zabit would have a strong start. See, my prediction would have been right had this went 5 rounds.
See, my prediction was predicated on believing this was a fair fight.
See, because my exact thoughts were Zabit for probably the first round or the first like round and a half. Oh, he's going to get his work off. Like, dude's really creative, high output. He's moving 100 miles a minute, just always bouncing around, just always doing something, keeping you guessing. You never know what he's really going to throw. So he's going to get it off for the first 2 rounds. And I was like, second half of the fight, as long as Kattar hasn't taken too much damage, once he gets his distance and his range and his boxing starts flowing, oh, it's going to get ugly. And that happened, but we didn't get 5 rounds of it. We only got 3. But you know what? I'm gonna try not to harp on that too much. It is what it is.
We got the fight we got.
Yeah, we got what we got. So we gotta live with what we got. I liked a lot of what Zabit did. Like Zabit is the man is just really creative. I was surprised that I ain't gonna say surprised. Maybe a little strong of a word, but I expected him to mix it up more in terms of going for more takedowns or grappling more, which he didn't really do too much of really in this fight at all. He was pretty willing to just kind of stand and engage, and he did a really good job of it. Like he stood in the pocket with Kattar a couple of times. He landed good shots. Like I said, he's just really creative. You kind of never really know what he's gonna throw. One minute you might get hit with a 1-2. It might be a side kick coming, leg kick. He might spin the next second. You know, he's always bouncing around. You kind of never really know what's going on. And I felt like in those first 2 rounds, he really, I don't say overwhelmed, because I thought Kattar did a solid job defensively. He ate shots, but he didn't get cracked with anything that was too crazy. I just felt like he didn't, I don't know if he got overloaded or it just took him a little longer to kind of find his timing and like find his groove. But it just wasn't enough.
It was too little, too late.
Yeah, it was too little, too late. Like he spent too much time kind of either waiting for something to happen. Zabit was able to put a lot of pressure on in those first 2 rounds, and I mean, props to Zabit. Like I said, he can get off to a strong start, man. The man can just hit you with all kinds of combinations. You never really know what's coming. And even though while like he's not a like power puncher, he still can land pretty clean and pretty effectively. And like he mixes it up. He'll hit you with a jab. He caught Kattar with a couple uppercuts. I did like that both of them. Maybe not a whole lot, but I saw a lot of a decent number of like hooks to the body when they would throw combinations, which I thought was really dope.
Yeah, like his body. Like one thing I think that gets lost in all the like the spitting stuff and the fancy kicks that Magomedsharipov throws is that he's a really solid boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has a really nice jab when he chooses to throw it. Like his ability, his ability to switch stances mid combination is like really smooth. Like lots of shifting punches, lots of I'm gonna throw the cross and turn it into like a jab by switching stances and getting a little bit extra reach on it. He has like really nice head movement when he chooses to use it. And he's a really nice at hand fighting. Like that was part of the reason like why Kattar's jab didn't get off early in the fight. He was doing a good job of parrying it, stacking on it, posting on that lead hand. Lots of hard feints that just like he was able to draw that jab out and counter it, or get Kattar moving backwards, which is like just. I think that was the biggest surprise to me. Like I expected Magomedsharipov to fight backwards because I expected Kattar to come forward more, but Magomedsharipov was able to not only push Kattar back, but just like meet him in the middle. Like they would exchange at distance, or like he would lead more. I guess I would say and they would like a lot of their fight was fought inside that octagon, like the middle one, the black lines.
Hmm.
There were some instances where Kattar was able to push Magomedsharipov back, and that's where I expected him to like really like have some success. But all the feints and all the different looks, um, it just were too much early on for him to like really get a read. I think that's where like I think that's where you know Zabit is just most troubling because like throws so much at you as like over the course of the first two rounds, like you don't really know what to counter or what to expect. Um, like in round three, Kattar was just like, "Fuck it, I'm going to up the pressure, and all these I'm going to force exchanges in the pocket." And that's when he started landing those uppercuts. He started like attacking the body with those hooks. But yeah, it is like two or three really nasty hooks to the body. And it's just like if you had started this, like if you had just attacked the body early on, he might have gotten tired a little bit quicker. Um,
I wonder if, and I guess it kind of caught me by surprise. I didn't think that when they did start exchanging in the pocket, I didn't expect Zabit to do as well as he did. Like, I thought Kattar was going to get the better of a lot of those exchanges.
his footwork was on point. It was a beat, like just like he knew when to be in the pocket. Like he did a very good job of like not giving Kattar the angles to exploit him there early on. But like the longer the fight went on, the more tired he got.
Yep.
And like the like the the punch that hurt Magomedsharipov, like the first and like that long sequence where Kattar just starts marching him down. He slips the first punch. He slips the jab. Or was that cross? But he slips the first punch and just gets caught on the uppercut because he's just not looking at Kattar anymore.
Kattar was landing some nasty uppercuts in that round. Yeah, Kattar was getting it off in that third round. God, yeah, it was such a good fight, but it was so frustrating because it's like,
Oh, okay. He finally something finally clicks for Kattar, and then the fight's over.
right, it's like if you could have, because like I said, that third round is what I was hoping would have happened earlier.
Yeah.
Like I kind of expected to probably take the first just because he's so creative. You kind of gotta take your time, figure out like, all right, what is this guy really trying to do? Because he's gonna throw everything. But yeah, I just expected that pressure from Kattar to come earlier. But yeah, God, it just feels like it was such a good fight, man. Because they really were exchanging like back and forth, but Zabit just more pressure in those first two, and then in that third round, Kattar, like we thought he would. Tide was slowly turning. You see Zabit start looking up at the clock.
Yeah.
And it's like, all
All
right,
right.
man,
Yeah.
we know what time it is.
Good luck to Max Holloway.
Right. That's what I was thinking, man.
But like,
man,
one last thing Kattar did that I really liked. He started switching stances in like the end of the second round and the third round, where he was just like, you know what, I'm not able to cut this guy off, so I'm gonna just switch stances on him mid combination, and it seemed to just throw Magomedsharipov off. It was just like, okay, I guess I'll just back up while he does that, and then all of a sudden he'd find himself against the fence.
my memory could be a little off. I felt like Kattar was throwing leg kicks at one point in the fight.
Oh yeah, no, like he was throwing, like that's the thing. That's another thing he could have done. Like,
yeah, he should have kept those a little more consistently. Because I felt like at one point he was doing them, not a whole lot, but enough that it was noticeable, and then he wasn't again at one point.
yeah, he landed like a lot. Like there was a sequence where he landed like two or three leg kicks in a row, and like Magomedsharipov didn't even bother to check him. But you could tell like they were messing with him. It was just like,
because against a guy like Zabit who moves as much as he does, you kind of want to, if you can chop those down and just get them off the gas pedal a little bit, probably could do wonders. But then I guess in Zabit's defense, throw a kick, still might get countered, or you can still get caught with something. He was real long and rangy, so. But nah, this was a really good fight, man. It just really sucks because you really wanted 5 rounds of this, and for me, yeah, I can say for me, Zabit is really really talented, but a 5-rounder against a guy like Max, or even against like Volkanovski,
That
I don't see it,
yeah,
man.
that might be a little much, you know.
Yeah, because we saw Volkanovski, he can go a hard 5. The man can go hard 5. Like I think Zabit can have success against the upper tier of this division, but when he fights those guys who are kind of just like dogs, like I don't see how he overcomes if he does not get an early finish.
Yeah,
And
like that's the
it's
thing.
not in his favor because he's not a power puncher. Like
Yeah, like, and the thing is, like, the top 3 fighters in this division are Max Holloway, Alexander Volkanovski, and Brian Ortega, and they all fight with constant pressure, and unless you put them away, they will just not back down.
all right. So before we back off this fight and move on, do you want to see? I saw a lot of people throw this out there. Is it Zabit Yair? Is this the time to?
And they're both coming off of wins. I don't see why not.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
They get a 5-rounder.
And that, yeah, I'm about to say, don't do that co-main trash. that better be headlining the card. That needs to be headlining the card somewhere. But nah, awesome main event, man. Good win for Zabit nonetheless. But shout out to Kattar, man. Really good performances. A little too late, but great fight. For the main event, we all wanted to see. I think we all got what we wanted. We just wanted 2 more rounds of it. But
Yeah.
it is what it is. But congrats to Zabit. He got the win via unanimous decision. Co-main event, Alexander Volkov versus Greg Hardy. I would say I have a lot to say about this fight, but I don't really. Like, Volkov basically went in. I posted this on Twitter. He had a mildly aggressive sparring session with Greg Hardy.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, and kind of what I ain't gonna say what I expected to happen happened. I thought he would maybe be able to put Hardy out. You know what's kind of funny though is Hardy's like first couple fights, and even going back to the Contender Series where he would just come in and just kind of outright just straight brawl, just push forward, hands until somebody gets knocked out.
Yep.
And then we saw in his last fight, I can't remember the guy's name that he fought, but he was like a lot more measured, which I get, because you don't want to go out and just gas out in the first round. But to be honest, I thought against Volkov, this might have been the one fight where you should have just went in and just tried to just take a head off, because you're not gonna land, you're not gonna win an at distance like kickboxing match with Volkov. Like, dude is way too skilled, really just long and rangy.
Yeah.
Peppered Hardy up with those body kicks, which he kind of just throws on a whim. No wind up. It don't even look like they. I don't say it don't look like they hurt, because I thought that for a second, but then I imagine like, dude, he's like 7 foot. It's a big leg. Like, that's a large leg hitting you. So even though it don't look, because he doesn't throw it with like a lot of velocity, it's like he just picks it up and just like places it there. But I'd imagine if a dude who's like 6'8" hits you enough times with those, probably hurts after a while. So yeah, he just kind of peppered Hardy up. Good body kicks. He would land a hard shot every now and again. Hardy was trying to get off those power hooks. He might have landed maybe like 1 or 2, but nothing too crazy. Hardy realized in the third that he was definitely losing. He came out with a blitz in the third, which is something I thought he probably should have did earlier had he hoped to win, but blitz didn't work. He just kind of, there's not a lot technical to break down. Volkov literally just
Jab and
from
leg
at
kicks.
distance, that was it. Just pick him apart.
The occasional front kick to keep Hardy at range, keep him thinking. Yeah, no, just Volkov spent a year. I don't know if he was like hurt or that.
Lewis loss probably took a little bit out of him.
Yeah. So
But
I don't know if like any of that was like the reason he was out for a year, but like it was a fine return.
I'll continue to say for Volkov that coming over from Bellator, I did not think he would do this good.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not using the Hardy fight as like the measuring stick, but like just overall, I did not think he would come to the UFC and be as successful as he has been. But nah, props to him, man. He's still out here getting wins. Not a lot to say about that fight. What's next for Hardy? Don't know.
Don't care.
Don't really care. Yeah. Don't really care. I still wouldn't mind seeing the Volkov JDS fight if that can get rescheduled. Because Volkov's, outside of the Lewis, knockout, dude's been really good in the UFC, man. He's put on a lot of good fights. So, I hope they can still do the JDS fight down the line. But Volkov defeated Greg Hardy via unanimous decision. Ooh, this next fight, boy. Danny Roberts versus Zalim Amadev. Man. I feel like the last couple of times we talked about Danny Roberts, things started off well, and then he had, like, things just go wrong. Like, he's another one of those guys that I feel like has, like, some unfortunate losses.
Right.
And, the tides turned. the tides turned. I don't remember this fight in a ton of specific detail. I remember it was a pretty decent fight. I remember Danny pushing for a lot of takedowns. That finished though. You know what was crazy? So this fight, I was half watching this card at work. But when this fight was on, I was actually driving home, so I couldn't watch it, but I had my phone plugged up, so I was hearing it through my speaker, but I couldn't watch what was going on. So all I heard was a loud scream, and then I heard, "Oh, he wins with the spin." And in my mind, I thought, "Oh, Danny Roberts did a spinning back fist." I didn't know they meant spin like, oh, he punched him so hard that he literally
spun around the face plant.
Yeah, right. He did like the half Brock Lesnar Cain Velasquez spin and just face planted. Like, he cracked Zalim with a left, and Zalim's whole body just, it was like he was trying to do like a capoeira move, and he fell like halfway and landed like right on his chin. And just that look in his eyes when he like looked back up, you could tell like, yeah, he had no idea. He didn't know what happened.
Yeah.
Yikes. But great win for Danny though. On a card that was not very eventful, at least in the main card. I enjoyed the prelims. Way to stand out. If you can make a man spin, you did something right. And I can't remember, was it this fight? Did he go to another gym? Can't remember.
I think he split time because I know he was still at the whatever the I know they're not Black Zillions anymore, but they're like something else. I can't remember what they are. But like I know he's still there, but he did like train elsewhere as well.
Yeah. So maybe sometimes you just need to switch up. Whatever it was, you make a man spin. You're probably gonna win that fight. So, congrats to Danny Roberts. He got Zalim out of there with a nasty KO of a left hook in that second round. This next fight. Did you watch Ed Herman and Cadiz?
I did. Yeah, Ed Herman's out here just ruining the heavyweight prospects.
Oh, man. You know what, though? When I saw his name on the card, I was like, oh, God. I'm in 2019, like, no disrespect, but I'm not really looking forward to an Ed Herman fight. I actually, like, halfway enjoyed this. Like,
yeah, it Yeah, he looked good. Well, I mean, as good as like a 39-year-old is gonna look.
Right.
But like he was out there, like in the clinch, he was strong. He was, you know, what's it called? Establishing like he was building a bridge so he could, land those knees. Like he was really not flexible, like creative with those knees. Where like, the guy would go to cover his face, and then he would just come from underneath with the knee. It was really good. He that other dude, I don't even have his name in front of me right now. What's his name?
Kadis Abragimov.
Yeah, Abragimov. He gasped 4 minutes into the fight.
Like, I feel like every like minute and a half, he would have a really hard flurry, where he would just like unleash just like this 4 or 5 punch combination, and I can't be mad because you would think Ed Herman, 30+ years old, almost at 40. I can probably get this old guy out of here. Ed Herman ate those shots. Like,
Yeah.
he took them. Took him on the chin. And the young guy probably was like, well, I thought I was going to knock the old man out, but, like, dude is still here. He's not leaving. And like you said, yeah, I was most impressed with Herman's clinch work. Those knees were really nasty. I don't know if he broke his nose, but he definitely busted Abragimov's nose up. Like, really quick with those knees. And he landed a couple good elbows in the clinch, too. Yeah, like, Ed Herman just gave him, I ain't gonna say an old man beating, but, you know,
Scott,
he kicked him off the
you
line.
show them that there's more to being a fighter than being fast and throwing wild punches.
Right. He showed some veteranship. Like, he showed that that's a man who's been fighting for a long time, and, you know, not in his prime no more, but he still knows what he's doing in there. So nah, yeah, I can't even really trash this fight. When I saw it on paper, I was like, I don't know about this one. But after watching it, it's like, you know what, man, respect to Ed Herman. He did his thing, man. I gotta respect it. So shout out to Ed Herman. He got the win via unanimous decision. Did we just call him Rocco now? Is that like really? Wasn't that like not his name at first, and then now we call him Anthony Rocco Martin?
Apparently that's his real name. But like he went by Tony Martin.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I guess Rocco. I don't know. Maybe it's the sideburns. I don't know. But Anthony Rocco Martin versus Ramazan Nameev. I don't know. I don't really have a whole lot to say about this fight. It was like a solid kickboxing match, in which I don't know. It was like a solid kickboxing match. I remember Rocco Martin going for he went for that Kimura a bunch of times. It was really slick how Nameev got out that first one. Because I thought it for a brief moment it looked like Martin was actually about to get it. But Nameev was able to like hold his arm together, and he had a nice way he got out of that first attempt.
See, I barely remember this fight.
Yeah, it wasn't, to be honest, like it wasn't one of those fights that like nothing, like at least with like the Herman fight, like you remember the power shots that Abragimov threw, you remember the knees that Herman landed. In this fight, there wasn't really a lot of like moments. Like it's not even that it was a bad fight, but it wasn't super eventful. It was just like a solid kickboxing match in which I think Martin was bleeding. I think he got his nose or face busted up a little bit. Like it was a decent match, but nothing to really, I don't know, jabs, leg kicks, crosses, you know. Like
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, no, there's no deep dive there. There's no deep dive there. But I will say though, Martin's been on the streak, right? I feel like.
I want to say this is his second one. He lost to James Krause, I thought, or am I?
Oh yeah. Did he? Let me see.
No, he lost to Maya. That's who it was.
Oh, okay. Before that, I think he had.
He won 4 in a row since moving up.
Okay. Still not bad though. My Maya losses, even though at 40. I mean, as we saw, Maya's still out here. He in these streets. But no, not bad for Rocco. He got the unanimous decision win. Gave his mom a nice little heartfelt shout out at the end. during his post-fight speech. So shout out to Rocco Martin, man. He got a unanimous decision win over Ramazan Ameev. Continues to be successful at welterweight, which I'll just drill this point over and over every time it happens. It's fighting a natural weight class, man. Like, like good things can happen for you.
Exactly.
Good things can happen for you. Stop cutting 90 pounds trying to fight in a lower weight class to get an advantage that doesn't really exist. It's not like the early 2000s no more. Everybody's way too skilled. It's not, that ain't the move no more. Stop doing it. But shout out to Rocco Martin. And rounding out the main card, Shamil Gamzat, Shamil Gamzatov versus Klidson Abreu. Oh wow, I'm gonna be completely honest and transparent with you guys. I watched this fight and I didn't see the decision.
It was a bad fight, but it was a bad fight. Abreu should have won.
Yeah, I assumed Abreu won, so I just moved on. But apparently he didn't. So, I don't know. You got a deep dive on this one.
Abreu has gotten better as a striker, but that just could be because what's his name is bad. I'm always I always think I want to remember names. Gamzatov might just be a bad striker, so that could just be it. But Abreu looked better than he has in the past when it comes to like throwing his hands and catching guys clean and stuff. He was landing like nice 2-3 punch combinations, landed a couple of nice counters.
Most of the fight was on the feet.
Yeah.
He didn't shoot for a takedown like literally until the third round when the fight was almost
Yeah,
over.
he kind of slowed down in that third, but other than that, he looked fine.
This was your standard 205 kickboxing match. Not and I know it sounds like we might be underselling this, but like if you guys didn't see the card, to be honest, the main card of this just wasn't. There was not a lot to really hold on to. Like it was just. We've described plenty of fights like this where you watch them and it's like, oh, that was cool, but like it's not anything you're ever gonna go back to. It's not like if you missed it that you missed out on like a moment. It's kind of like, all right, that was a thing that happened. What's next? But Shamil got the split decision win over Abreu, and that was the main card. That was the main card. And you said that you didn't get a chance to see any of the prelims, correct?
I saw like a little bit of Grant. Well, I had his name earlier.
Popov.
Yeah. And Kianzad versus Rose Clark, but no, I didn't get to see much else.
Well, I'll say, and this is the prelim spotlight segment of the show. We'll highlight a couple of the prelims worth watching. But I'll give the prelims a good shout out because when I went and rewatched this, because I missed most of the prelims in real time. There were a couple of fights that I didn't see. I missed Davey Grant versus Popov, and I did not see the Kabbalov fight versus Sergey Kondoshko. But I watched the rest of these. The prelims to me were actually pretty entertaining. I got much more out of the prelims than I did the main card. Because like I said, from the main card, outside of Zabit and Kattar, I didn't, had Volkov and JDS been a thing, maybe I'd have more positive things to say about the main card, but just like I didn't get a whole lot. I mean, I'm thankful for Danny Roberts. I'm down for seeing a spin, but I just didn't get a lot. But the prelims I found pretty entertaining. So prelim spotlight. There are a couple of fights worth highlighting, to be honest. The Magomed Ankalaev versus Dalcha Lungjiabula fight. Whoosh. Bruh, that finish, that is one of the loudest front kicks I've ever heard in my life. It just, I don't know if the arena was just quiet when it happened or if it was, I think it was just that loud. Like, that front kick just sounded like he got hit with like a bamboo stick or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nasty front kick, finished him with punches. Definitely one of the better finishes of the night. I mean, in all things considered, like he looked good. Like for a 205er, you know, I ain't saying championship, nothing crazy like that, but he looked good. Like I remember him having a lot of hype when he came, and then he took the L to who did he lose to? Paul Craig?
Was the Paul Craig submitted him at like
Yeah.
literally the last second of the fight.
Last second, yeah. So like he showed why he had the hype that he had. Like he looked really good. So definitely a shout out to Magomedsharipov, got the KO win. I'll give a prelim spotlight shout out also to Carl Robeson versus Roman Kopylov. There was a crazy moment in the fight. First of all, Robeson looked pretty good too. A lot of nasty leg kicks. Just dude's a stud like athlete. But there was a point in the fight where Roberson got his eye poked so bad that like he had blood coming out of his eye, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good. Let's keep going. Let's keep going." And it ended up turning out that the blood was coming from, I guess somehow when he got poked, he had a nasty cut like right above his eyelid that was like bleeding into his eye.
Yeah.
But he kept it going, and then he ended up like maybe like a minute after ended up getting a rear naked choke. So good on Roberson, man. Dude, that was like one of those performances like, yo, that dude's a dog. Like he could have looked for a way out, or you know, he could have halted after that poke, but nah, he really, it was like that poke got him mad. He's like, all right, now I gotta get this guy out of here. And Kopylov, I think, was undefeated up until that point. So shout out to Carl Robeson, definitely spotlight prelim shout outs to him. And I'll give my last prelim. You know what? I'm cheating. I'll give a couple more. David Zawada versus Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Really nasty. That was a nice triangle choke from Zawada. So shout outs to him, and I'll give my last prelim shout outs to Pannie Kianzad over Jessica Rose Clark. I thought Pannie looked really solid, man. Just really it's really good kickboxing. It was a really good, entertaining, really good. That was pretty entertaining, and she was able to put a lot of hands and feet on Rose Clark. I thought she looked really good. But just going through all the results one last time, so I'll make sure I mention everything. Magomedsharipov, KO win over Dalcha Lungiambula. Rustam Kavalov got a unanimous decision over Sergey Kondoshko. Carl Robeson got a rear naked choke win over Roman Kopylov. David Zawada, triangle choke win over Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Roosevelt Roberts got a unanimous decision win over Alexander Yakovlev. And Pannie Kianzad, unanimous decision over Jessica Rose Clark. And Davey Grant got a split decision over. Did you see that fight in whole? The pop-off fight?
Nah, not really.
Didn't see it all? Okay. Yeah, I this was one of the fights I just kind of, unfortunately, had to just whip past.
Yeah.
But Davey Grant got a split decision win over Grigory Popov. Overall, this is a cool card. If you missed it, it's not a ton to go back and rewatch. I would say definitely watch Zabit Kattar. Awesome fight. If you want to see the Greg Hardy shenanigans, which weren't really shenanigans, I guess you can watch that if you want. Definitely watch the Danny Roberts, Zalim Amadayev. Watch Roberts make him spin. Outside of that, the main card wasn't all that great. I would say the prelims, to be honest, for me, was where a lot of the good stuff happened. I like the Carl Roberson fight. I like the Pannie Kianzad fight. I like the David Zawada finish, and I like of course the Ankalaev finish. I can't speak to the Kopylov fight or the Davey Grant fight because I didn't catch those. But the prelims were cool, but you don't even really have to watch those. I guess like if you're a fan of anybody on the prelims, I'd say check it out. But really, like the only must-see moments I would say would be Zabit Kattar and Danny Roberts KO. Everything else on here. And no, I'll throw Ankalaev. That's a must-see because that KO was nasty. Everything else on here kind of optional. Like there were good performances, just as a whole, this card wasn't really. yeah.
Yeah,
It just
no,
wasn't.
yeah, I get you.
Yeah. But either who, decent card nonetheless. So I don't know if you got UFC Fight Pass, go give it a look if you want. Just watch it beat Kattar, then just watch highlights. I guess you'll get the gist of what's going on. But best fight of the weekend was Inoue Donaire. Well, technically I was on Thursday, but Inoue Donaire. Definitely watch that. Amazing fight. You can watch the KSI Logan card because I saw the undercard. I didn't see all of it. I saw Joe Saunders get that nasty uppercut win like at the last second.
Yeah.
I didn't see what was leading up before that.
It was not pretty. It was not.
No.
It was a Billy Joe Saunders fight.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed the what's the name fight. What's this kid's name? What's his
Haney?
name? Danny. Yeah. So he's a name that I've heard of, but I'd never watched any of his fights. I thought he was pretty decent. And then KSI Logan was KSI Logan. Like, we know what we came here for. We knew what was going on. But
We know what's up.
Nah, yeah, decent weekend of fights. So go watch the things we mentioned. I gotta go back and check out that one championship card. A couple fights on there I needed to check out, but it was a decent weekend. Not the best, but we got an amazing fight from Donaire Inoue, so I'll take it. And we got shenanigans with KSI and Logan Paul. So, what you want from me?
Right.
As far as what's upcoming, oh man, next week. Oh man. I'm a little nervous for this one, man. UFC, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Jan Blachowicz, Jacare Souza. I'm a little nervous about this fight. I love Jacare. He's one of my favorites. I don't want to see him get slept. I don't want to see it. But you got Jan Blachowicz versus Jacare Souza. Shogun Rua versus Paul Craig. Hold on, that wasn't the original fight, was it? Was that the original fight?
What?
Was Shogun Rua always fighting?
No, he was supposed to fight Sam Alvey, but Sam Alvey got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
All I'll say is I like this matchup.
How dare you?
Du Bronx is back. Charles Oliveira versus Jared Gordon. Who else is on this card? Sergio Moraes versus James Krause. Francisco Trinaldo versus Bobby Green. Warley Alves versus Randy Brown. Oh, Lord. Renan Barao is back against Douglas Silva de Andrade. Ariane Lipsky versus Priscilla Cochera. Like a decent card. How do you envision this Blachowicz-Jacare fight going?
See, I think it's a better matchup for Jacare than it was for Luke Rockhold, because Luke Rockhold just never seems comfortable striking. For prolonged exchange or for prolonged period of time anyway. If he just goes in there and just like eats punches, he's gonna get knocked out. I really don't know. And the thing is, Jacare can pressure. Like he was able to pressure Weidman into moving backwards. Though I think Weidman wanted to play a game off his back foot, but we've seen that Blachowicz also likes to do that. Yeah, I really don't know how this is going to turn out. Like I want to say, Blachowicz should be able to like take out to knock him out late, but like I think Jacare can do it. Like I'm not 100% sold either way. I feel like I'm waffling here, but I'm gonna pick against the sadness pick. I'm gonna pick Jacare.
Yeah, I'm leaning with Jacare just off of principle and fanhood. My confidence in this fight is
Low.
Yeah, it's. I'm prepared for the worst. I think. I think I'm prepared for the worst. But yeah, we'll see. But we got that going next week. That's on the 16th. One Championship also has a card upcoming. One Championship, Age of Dragons. They definitely used that title before. They had to use that title before.
Age of something.
Yeah, but look like it's a kickboxing card. We got a flyweight kickboxing world championship between Elias Inoue versus Wang Wenfeng. Tariq Khabib versus Roman Kwaklia, which is in the light heavyweight kickboxing world championship. Yates and Clive's on here at a catchweight. Yates and Clive Fairtex versus a gentleman named Sasha Moisa. And then for the MMA fights, Mingbo versus Laura Balin, Mili Tao versus Jeremy Miyado, and Ritu. Oh! Urena Bars. Hey. I'm sorry, I just completely skipped that other fight I was about to mention. I saw Urena Bars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's worth it. Urena Bars, man. I did not know she was on this card. She has a kickboxing match against some woman named Christina Brewer. So definitely watch that, man. Urena Bars is awesome. If you never watched Urena Bars fight, if you never watched Urena Bars versus Cyborg, go do your Googles and your YouTubes. That's dope. I had no idea Urena Bars was on this card. So now I'm hyped now. I'm happy.
Yep.
So I definitely gotta watch that. So guess I'll be watching one next week. I'll try my hardest to catch it. So that should be dope. One always puts on pretty good cards. So like this is a kickboxing heavy card for them. So if that's your thing, definitely give that a look. Any boxing coming up anytime soon?
What's happening this week? I want to say there was something good happening this week, but I can't be sure. Let's see. Oh, Delphine Persoon, the woman who should have beat Katie Taylor a few months ago, she'll be fighting on Monday against Helen Joseph. So if you're listening to this on Monday or Tuesday or whenever it comes out, go seek that out because it's probably gonna be really good. Nothing this week that pops out, but we do have the Wilder fight that's coming up in 2 weeks.
Hey.
So the 23rd. Let me see. He's triple check. Yeah, no, it looks like there's not a lot happening next week for boxing.
Next week a little bit. Bellator's got another card, but it's not this week. It's the week after. On the 23rd, they have their London card, headlined by MVP versus Derek Anderson. Also on the card, you got Fabian Edwards versus Mike Shipman, Terry Brazier versus Sorenbach, Charlie Ward versus Pietro Panini, Denise Kielholtz versus Sabri Singal.
Wait, did you say that? Did you mention Bellator 234? Sorry.
Is that what this is?
No, that's 235.
Is it? What's 234?
Karatana versus Vasil?
Oh, no, yeah, I definitely skipped that. When is that?
That is Thursday. They're in Israel.
Oh, I completely looked over.
Yeah. So we got Lynn Vasil versus Sergey Karatanov at heavyweight for some reason. For Vasil, whatever. That's the main event. In the co-main event, oh God, we have Roger Huerta versus Sidney Outlaw.
Let's go.
In one of the other main card fights, we got former featherweight title challenger Olga Rubin versus Sinead Kavanagh. We have Austin Vanderford, Paige Van Zandt's husband, against Russian Grachik Bozinyan. And rounding out, you got two more main card fights. Haim Ghazali versus Artur Pronin in a welterweight bout. And Aviv Ghazali versus Zaka Fatullah Zadeh at a lightweight bout. And we
don't you know that Gracie?
Yeah, I was gonna. I saw it the same time you saw it. Robson Gracie Jr. He's gonna be fighting Amir Bashir on the prelims, and then there's a whole bunch of Israeli fighters on the prelims. It might be every fighter in Israel, to be honest with you, except Noah.
Yeah, why is it like 20 fights? I see y'all on the postlims that I won't be watching.
LFA 78.
Oh, shout out to them because I think that'll be on Fight.
Yes.
Hey, there we go.
So Adrian Yanez versus Kyle Estrada in the main event, bantamweight fight, and then the co-main event is Haley Cohen versus Lisa Maldine. Um, I mean, meh. Other fights.
That's
It's
alright.
fine.
We got some, there'll be some fisticuffs
I'm definitely.
up and coming.
Am I forgetting something? Like, hold up. It's like I want to say there was something scheduled for like the 15th that I was like looking forward to at one point, but forgot about. It might have been like a canceled fight or something. Oh, there's a K1 card this week.
Hey, who's on that?
Perfect kickboxing, don't fail me now. Let's see. In the what I'm gonna assume is the main event, we have Masashi Komura versus Yuta Hayashi. This K1 is a crush fight card. Okay, that's what it
Oh,
was.
okay.
Mazaki I'm garbage. Nwari versus Rukia Anpo. Yeah, and they're always fun. So if you
Yeah, crush cards when I do get a chance to watch, they're always a good
whether you
time.
can watch on repeat or I don't know, you catch a live stream somehow, give it a watch. If you
There you
can.
go.
So forgetting something. Oh, it's we have the combo world championships going on like as we speak right now, as well as the Kyokushin world championships. If you're on YouTube, go search those up because they're being streamed there, and I haven't watched them yet, so I don't know how they've been, but I assume they're entertaining.
There you go. There's fights everywhere, man. Really, if you want fights, we got a YouTube channel, man. Subscribe to all the fight promotions and just let YouTube recommend you all the fights, because that's what I do. And they've consistently been sending me some heat. There's always a lot of fights out there, man. Always some fights to watch. But that's pretty much, I guess, we got all for today's show. So we can go ahead and go with a fight recommendation before we get out of here. Was I terrible and did I not write my fight recommendation down? And I just spent this whole pre-meet. Oh, yeah, here we go. I was about to say, I thought I wrote this down. So my fight recommendation, man, maybe a fight, probably a lot of hardcore fans, like super hardcore MMA fans probably know about this. But if not, it's on YouTube. Give it a watch. This fight comes from Sengoku 14. It was a Sengoku middleweight championship fight between Jorge Santiago and Kazuyo Masaki. And this is the second fight because they actually fought twice. But the fight I'm referring to is the second one. Both fights were actually good. I'd recommend both. Recommend watching both, but I'm highlighting the second one because that's the one I most recently watched again. Wild back and forth, just like one of the wildest back and forth 5-rounders you'll ever see. Where at one point Santiago's winning, and then he gets hurt, and then Masaki's winning. It was a crazy fight.
Really great fight. One of the best ever.
Yeah. That's an all-time great fight. I don't remember what year that happened, but that was definitely
2010.
I'm pretty sure
2011. Was it?
Yeah. I don't know if it got fight. I know that it was dubbed as like Japan's fight of the year that it happened. And it probably was one of the best fights of that year, period. But not a classic fight, man. If you've never watched it, go give that a look, man. Amazing fight. You can find it on YouTube, so you don't have to have like Fight Pass or anything. I try to recommend fights. Well, I'm gonna try to recommend fights that are pretty easily accessible to everybody, that aren't like behind a paywall or you don't have to do anything extra to find. But that is a Jorge Santiago versus Masaki 2 at Sengoku 14. Go give that a look. Amazing fight.
For my suggestion, so I was stuck behind the reference desk this week at work, and I was looking up I was looking through old Chronicle of American newspapers.
So just local newspapers from all over the country, and I looked for a bunch that were here for fights here in Jersey, and I came across the fight of the century, Jack Dempsey versus Georges Carpentier, which happened in 1921. I want to say. Yes, it was a fight that they held in Jersey City. It was boxing's first ever $1 million gate, and I think it brought in something like $1.7 million. And it took place at the Boyles 30 Acres Arena, which no longer exists. I think it's a housing project now, but it was in front of like 80,000 people. Yeah, and it made
That's so.
yeah. It's really funny now because like Carpentier is 5'11 and a half inches tall and like 178 pounds, and Dempsey's like 190 pounds and like 6 foot tall, maybe 6'1". So it's like, oh, these guys are like light heavyweights by today's standards, but they were the best heavyweights on the planet back then. But I said just go give it that a watch. Just if you're into boxing history, if you're into getting to know boxing history, these are the fights you should be watching. Like these landmark occasions, and you see how the sport's really evolves. You know what's something really crazy? We shoot fighting or MMA has existed in a lot of different forms throughout the year, but like if we're just gonna, I guess like we can go back to the '80s with like Shudo and stuff like that. But like Carpentier, Dempsey did not take. Like if you were to look at the start of MMA to now, it's not that far off from where Dempsey Carpentier was, from like the beginning of like Queensberry rules boxing, where like you wear gloves and stuff. Yeah, so I don't know. I just found that crazy.
Hey man, history.
Yep.
That's crazy. The first $1 million bag. Well, maybe not $1 million bag, but
$1 million gate.
And that back then probably was like a huge. I imagine that probably was a huge deal back then. But yeah, it's probably in black and white too. Black and white fights are always funny. Was that in black and white? Had to be.
Yeah, it's in black and white.
There we go. I don't know why I find like the black and white fights fascinating.
I think it's because they're always sped up.
Right, like the frame rate always looks like really like. I don't know. It's really weird to look at, but like it holds my attention.
I used to think like Babe Ruth was like really fast, but I was just like, oh no, it's just the way they shot the video.
In reality, like every little 5-year-old now runs faster than Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
But they sped him up, so we didn't know what was going on. Shout out to Babe Ruth. But yeah, there you go. Those are our fight recommendations. So do your Googles and your YouTubes, and go watch. And I guess before we leave, closing thoughts. I actually meant to mention this earlier, but shout outs to the homie Puds. Marius Pudzanowski. He fought at KSW this weekend. I was mad because I forgot it was a thing and I missed it. But I got the zone, so I'll go back and watch it. It was only 2 rounds. But the homie Puds, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. He defeated social media star Urkel June.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. But he got him out of here via ground and pound. I think it was in the 2nd round. But apparently there were shenanigans in this fight of somebody grabbing a cage. I don't know. It's a Puds fight, man. But,
Happens.
Yeah, shout out to Puds. Out here winning fights. One of the greatest heavyweights of all time.
Poland's biggest sports star.
Right. So that's my closing thought, man. Shout out to Puds.
I already gave a shot to. God, I should have looked this dude's name up. Cuomo, and then the mayor of New York, and then I guess the NYPD for what they're doing to the New York subway system. It's ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen any of the videos.
Don't they have like cameras on like every?
Well, they've been
little
putting up
turn?
like these like thousands of dollars worth of cameras and stationing like NYPD officers down there who get paid, thousands of dollars to be there, for like fine skippers and like how much money they're spending for turnstile jumpers and like for how much money they're spending, like they're not going to make it back.
Right.
So it just seems stupid and just cruel, to be honest with you.
Yeah. People think it's not gonna solve any of the quote unquote problems they think it's gonna.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah, you're dumping a lot of money into something that you're probably not gonna see any kind of return on.
And shouts to the janitors at the LA Staples Center who had to clean up after that crowd last night. Because
It's a crazy place, man.
LA is wild.
But that's all we got for today's episode, man. So as always, give the show a listen. SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play.
How are we on iHeartRadio?
I don't know. I just searched this and we were there. I didn't post this there, but we're there somehow. But listen to us on those platforms and many more. Send questions to dojotalkpodcast@yahoo.com. Give us a look on social media at the Dojo Talk Podcast Facebook page as well as the Instagram page. Follow me on Twitch if you want to see some Death Stranding gameplay at Serial Sensei. You can also follow me on Twitter at the same handle. Follow the Anti-Cool on Twitter at GC Zeus. And if you want to support me, buy my book, The Outback Chronicles, 99 cents. Digital copy, $8.99 physical. You can find that on Amazon. That's all we got for today. You guys bundle up, stay warm. It's burr outside. But I'm going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. So as always, anytime people are being punched and or kicked in the face, we will be there to talk about it. And until next time, we will catch you guys later.